Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get straight to the real insights. Today, we're taking a really fascinating journey. It's a deep dive into ancient Iran. We've pulled together quite a stack of, well, incredible sources. They show this rich tapestry of mythology, philosophy, and frankly, some surprisingly modern ideas. Our mission, like always, is to pull out the key nuggets of knowledge. We're talking ancient Iranian thought, legendary figures, think Homay, Rostam, and how these ideas echo, sometimes unexpectedly, in later cultures, even in psychology today. Get ready for some real aha moments, I think.
Yeah, and what's really compelling about the material today is just how broad and deep it goes. We're looking at excerpts from Ikeda Trinity, which offers these profound philosophical takes. And alongside that, significant chunks from Ferdowsi's epic, the Shahnameh, the Book of Kings, plus a detailed Wikipedia entry on Homay Chehrzad. And these aren't just dry historical texts. They really paint a vivid picture, don't they? A culture grappling with huge questions about existence, developing these unique archetypes, and influencing the world in ways you might genuinely not expect. It's like piecing together a mosaic of ancient wisdom, really.
Okay, let's dive right in then. One of those big foundational concepts, how ancient Iranians viewed life, death, time. Our sources point to this distinctive eschatological belief. Now, eschatology, it's basically how a culture sees the ultimate destiny of humanity, of the world itself. And here it's this idea that humans are reborn after death, or, quite literally, they return to existence. It's not quite a simple afterlife concept, is it? It implies something specific about the world's permanence or lack thereof. The texts actually state that followers didn't necessarily believe in the permanence and immortality of the world. Instead, they accepted the mortality of all things. So, okay, if everything's mortal, if it's all cyclical return, not some eternal, unchanging state, how do you think that shaped their understanding of, purpose, meaning?
Right. That's a crucial question.
Yeah.
Because this cyclical view, it's deeply woven into their wider philosophy, their cosmology. And this is where we see this trinity emerging, specifically the Ahriman Hormuz Zervan trinity. So to break that down a bit, Ahriman, generally the destructive force, evil. Hormuz, or Ahura Mazda, the benevolent creator spirit, and Zervans. Zervans often seen as cosmic time or fate, kind of encompassing both good and evil. Our sources specifically mention the beginning of Zervan's emergence as a key development. It suggests perhaps a way to reconcile these opposing forces within a bigger cosmic picture. But this brings us to a challenging point, something that comes up in the ancient archetypes described in these sources. The material shows this striking equivalence, and frankly, to our modern ears, it's quite unsettling. It states that in these ancient trinities, the female woman is taken as Ahriman, evil, and that in ancient Iranian archetypes, woman and Ahriman became equal.
Oh, okay. That's stark.
It is. And the texts elaborate, saying there was no place like man for women in Zoroastrianism or Mithraism. And even Carl Jung, the psychologist, he observed this in his work on archetypes. Now, it's really important we stress here, we're reporting impartially on what these historical sources contain. For understanding, we're definitely not endorsing these viewpoints.
Right, absolutely. Just presenting the information as it is in the texts.
Exactly. But it certainly highlights just how drastically perspectives on, say, gender and morality can shift over thousands of years.
It really does. A stark reminder of how cultural lenses change. And it shows how even these profound cosmic beliefs could be intertwined with pretty challenging social views. But this struggle we're talking about, good versus evil, it isn't just abstract, is it? It takes human form, heroic form. So let's maybe shift from the cosmic level to the heroic stories that embody these ideas. And let's focus on one of the biggest names, Rostam. The Shahnameh paints Rostam as, well, more than just a mighty warrior. He's a complex moral compass for his society. His actions, like taking revenge for his father's blood from the Zabulians, they're framed within this deep ethical system. And the sources show a really interesting contrast. They acknowledge that war is inherently born of greed and avarice. But Rostam, even though war is often forced on him, he does not believe in war within his own moral code. He values living. His presence brings goodness and kindness to his peers. He's only seeking the growth and flourishing of good in his fight against evil. So what does that tell us about the ideal hero back then? Is it about conquest or something more complex, maybe a reluctant champion?
Oh, definitely more complex. Rostam's story, it shows a hero who, despite being this incredible warrior, doesn't actually believe in war for its own sake or for personal gain. His fights are righteous, always about upholding good. And this dualistic struggle, good versus evil, which is so central to Rostam, is also embodied really powerfully in a mythical creature, the Simurgh. You might know it as Syena from the Avesta, the main Zoroastrian text. This amazing bird represents justice. Our sources describe it nesting in a widespread sea, laying 1,000 eggs. It's not just some fantasy creature. It's packed with symbolic meaning about creation, renewal. The Simurgh scatters Machstat and Marin, which means healing for all, beautiful phrase, and it fertilizes all plants. It's a life giver. But what's really fascinating is the Simurgh has two symbolic faces. There's one white, the primordial Shabaz, the Mazda, representing goodness, divine wisdom, and one black, the primordial crow, Ahriman, representing darkness, destruction.
So even the symbol of justice contains that tension.
Exactly. It shows how deeply embedded that duality was. The sources even link the Black Simurgh to figures like Malik Hareth, the peacock angel, and Tausen, in a specific tradition called Zervanite Manichaeism, particularly within the Manichaean Alihak sect. It's this incredible blend of creation, justice, and that ever-present duality. Shows real depth in their symbolic thinking.
That complex symbolism is, it's really something to mull over. And thinking about heroic journeys, our sources point out this recurring theme, something you might recognize from stories everywhere, actually. It's the idea that release in water always reveals the hero's life secret. It's primal, isn't it? Rebirth, revelation through water.
You see it everywhere.
Think about all those myths. A hero's true identity, their destiny, unveiled after being cast into water or pulled out of it. It's a classic narrative device. And speaking of powerful figures, hidden destinies. Let's turn to Homay Chehrzad, a truly formidable female ruler whose story kind of echoes these themes. Homay Chehrzad. Her story, as laid out in our sources, it's one of amazing leadership, resilience. She's identified as the daughter of either Malik Hareth, that's from the Bahman, or Bahman in the Shahnameh. Crucially, she was the mother of Darab. He'd become the 16th king of Iran, the 7th Kianian king. Her reign was substantial, 32 years, according to Ferdowsi's Shahnameh and the Bahman, though other sources, like the Bundahishn, say 30 years. What really stands out is the description of her rule. Good governance, she did no unpleasant deeds. Her people lived in comfort and health. Her time is highlighted as this unique point where historical records actually seem to intersect with the big epic stories like the Shahnameh.
And if we look at the bigger picture, Homay's importance goes way beyond just her historical reign. Our sources say she takes on the earthly role of Anahita. Now, Anahita was a major goddess water, fertility, wisdom.
Ah, okay, so it elevates her.
Exactly. It lifts her from just being a queen to being this kind of divine embodiment, linking her rule to cosmic order. And the story of her son, Darab, it's incredible, a classic hero's origin story, and it plays right into that release in water idea we just mentioned. So Homay is pregnant after her husband dies. She hides Darab's birth, maybe fearing for his safety or questions about legitimacy. Her handmaidens put the baby in a tar-sealed chest, and they cast it into the Euphrates River.
Wow. It's a classic foundling story.
Precisely. This helpless infant is then found and adopted by a laundryman. A really humble start for a future king, right? Emphasizes destiny over birthright. And Darab eventually fulfills that destiny. He becomes a king of the world like Mer, Mithra, embodying that concept of king of kings, Shahanshah. These are titles powerful rulers like Darius and Xerxes later adopted. The sources even draw a historical line, linking Darab to Darius III. He was the last Achaemenid king who, tragically, lost to Alexander the Great in war, which led to Iran's fall. It's such a powerful narrative arc. Divine connection, hidden beginnings, eventual triumph, and then ultimate tragedy.
So how did these ancient ideas then ripple outwards? How did they influence cultures way beyond ancient Iran, maybe even shape things we use or think about today? Let's start with something visual. The mandala. Our sources say it was used in ancient Persia, not just as a nice geometric pattern, but as this profound spiritual concept. Understood and used by famous Persian poets like Radaki, Nizami, Rumi. But here's where it gets really fascinating. The mandala's relevance today is just astonishing. It's used in illustration, urban planning, alchemy, magic, talismans, even now. And of course, Carl Jung. He also used mandalas in analytical and depth psychology, saw them as powerful symbols of the self. That's a direct line, isn't it? From ancient Persian thought right into modern therapy. An incredible journey for a symbol.
Yeah, it really is. And what's also fascinating is how another key Iranian concept, Mithraism, made this remarkable journey across continents. After Alexander's conquest, Mithraism spread from Iran to Europe, and it really took root, flourished among the Romans.
Right, the Roman Mithraic cult are pretty well known.
They are. And its legacy endures. You can still see Mithraic symbols in churches and places of worship today. It shows just how pervasive, how lasting its influence was on religious iconography, religious thought, and this kind of cross-cultural flow. It wasn't just limited to big religious movements. Think about Hermes. Hermes is this figure with a remarkably mixed identity, isn't he? he's identified with the Roman god Mercury and even with Hormos, Ahura Mazda, linking him back to that benevolent creator spirit we talked about earlier.
Oh, okay.
Some traditions even see him as Idris, the prophet from Abrahamic religions. His connections stretch across Babylonians, Egyptians, and, of course, Iranians. He's mentioned by revered Persian thinkers Nizami, Molavi, who we know as Rumi, Sohravardi. His lasting importance really seems to come from his alchemical and interpretive understanding of existence. He's like a bridge for profound knowledge across different cultures.
And what this all really comes down to, what connects all these threads, the gods, the heroes, the symbols traveling across the world, it's the sheer, enduring power of mythology itself. Our sources say mythology creates new cultural realms fully consistent with modern general concepts of myth. They aren't just dusty old stories, they're living, dynamic cultural forces. And the reason these ancient tales still hit home, still resonate, is because myths, they easily cross mental and material boundaries. They break down barriers of time and space, they gain this general acceptance, and they transform into what the text calls modern human idols. They tap into something universal in us, evolving, adapting, still shaping how we see the world, whether we always notice it or not. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? We've covered a lot of ground. From cosmic rebirth, dualistic trinities, to epic heroes like Rostam, the amazing reign of Homay, and these surprising global echoes of Iranian thought, Mandalis, Mithraism, Hermes. These ancient sources are not just historical footnotes. They offer really deep insights into archetypes, into stories that still shape our world, shape ourselves. They give us this lens, maybe, to view human experience, power, identity across thousands of years. Shows how deeply connected our stories really are.
Yeah, and it raises an important question, I think, for you to take away and ponder. Considering how easily these ancient myths cross time and space, became these modern human idols. What myths or narratives are shaping our society right now? Maybe in technology, social movements, politics. What stories are shaping our collective unconscious today? Which ones might future generations look back on as the foundational archetypes of our time, influencing them in ways we can maybe only guess at?
That's a great question, indeed. The deep dive into human knowledge, it never really stops. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey today. We hope you'll keep exploring these fascinating topics yourself, and we really look forward to having you back with us next time for another journey into the depths of knowledge.